Okay, so I would like to welcome everyone today. It's afternoon here in Italy, so I will say good afternoon. I don't know where you are connecting from. My name is Daniela Ciancio. I'm the RILEM Implementation Manager, and today I have the pleasure to moderate this webinar presented by Dr. Paulina Faria. The webinar is about an association, the Red PROTERRA, with which RILEM has recently signed a partnership agreement. Dr. Paulina Faria is a very active RILEM member, but she's also a very active PROTERRA member. Dr. Faria is an associate professor at the Nova School of Science and Technology of the University Nova de Lisboa in Portugal. She joined RILEM in 2016, and since then she's been a member of several technical committees. At the moment, she's an active TC member of TC 277 LHS about line-based repair materials, a member of the Free RILEM Technical Committees on Earthen Material, BEC, MAE, and PEM, and also of the TC on the requirements and testing of fresh printable cement-based materials. But as I said, Paulina today is here in a role of PROTERRA member. And since Paulina sits in one of the standing committees of RILEM, the DAC committee, as an expert, it was Paulina that last year proposed this partnership with PROTERRA. And so RILEM would like to thank her for this great idea. And Paulina knows very well PROTERRA as she became member in 2010. So she has many years on her shoulder of activities in RILEM and in PROTERRA. I would like to invite you to, of course, listen to the presentation of Paulina. And if you have any question, please use the Q&A button to write down your question. And I will collect all the questions and I will pose the questions to Paulina at the end of her presentation. So thank you very much. And Paulina, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Daniela. So glad to see you all, and I'd like to share with you some information about the PROTERRA network that probably will be useful for some of you that are related with earth construction in America and in Iberian Peninsula countries. So I start by showing a short summary. So I will talk a little bit on how was PROTERRA created, so the history of the network PROTERRA. What is PROTERRA nowadays? What is PROTERRA doing? And how to become a member of PROTERRA. The history of PROTERRA started in the 80s with an Ibero-American program of science and technology for development that was created by governments of Iberian Peninsula and American countries to promote the cooperation on subjects related to science, technology, and innovation, intending to contribute to the development of Iberoamerica. That was in the 80s, namely in 84, and within CITED, one of the programs that were created was Habitat. So the Habitat started in 87, and it had several sub-programs with thematic networks, and one of the thematic networks was Habiterra. Habiterra was created, started working in 91 and went on to 98. And that was the start of the previous network of PROTERRA. The thematic network Habiterra wanted to systematize the use of earth as a building material for social housing. There was one person representing each participating country. The network had an academic character and intended to develop training, capacity building, change, and scientific interaction activities, namely cooperation between diverse countries. It went from 91 to 98 with 3 coordinators representing 14 Ibero-American countries. And some of those representatives are still in PROTERRA. Namely, I'm seeing the photo of Célia Neves, that was one of the creators of many things that I'm going to talk today. The thematic network Habiterra produced a lot of publications, namely collections of building technologies used in different countries, namely 15 for this first document on the left. Also recommendations for the elaboration of technical standards, namely on Adobe, RILEM and CEB. That document helped many countries, namely Spain and many in South America, to produce their own standards, and also make exhibitions like the one on the right side. During this period, so the late 80s and the 90s, within RILEM, the TC96 earth construction was created. Later on, in 92, it was followed by the TC153, building with earth compressed earth block technology. And then in 94, the TC164, mechanics of earth as a building material. All those 3 TCs that were between the 80s and 90s were in cluster others. And the first RILEM recommendation was on rammed earth in 97, just to have a comparison with what was PROTERRA doing and RILEM doing in the same period. Coming back to the history of PROTERRA, in 2001, there was a demonstration project, also called PROTERRA, but not with cap letters, that started with the coordination of Célia Neves from Brazil. And this demonstration project went on, it was supposed to go up to 2005, but went on up to 2006. And this demonstration research project, PROTERRA, objectives were to promote demonstration projects with earth for building, advise entities dedicated to the construction of social housing, advise also on the development of standards for earth building, and training and transfer of knowledge for earth building. And in the first year, many experts who joined the PROTERRA project to organize knowledge, to identify appropriate tools, and to encourage the use of earth for social housing. And in that first year, the first CIACOT, the International Seminar on Architecture and Construction with Earth, was organized. Between 2001 and 2006, so during the research project PROTERRA, 100 people joined, members, collaborators, observers, and representatives of 15 friendly institutions. And 4 assemblies were held in Brazil, Spain, El Salvador, and Portugal. And also 4 CIACOTs, so the seminar, were organized together with almost together with the assemblies, namely in Brazil, Spain, Argentina, and Portugal. 9 demonstration projects were developed, involving more than 1,000 people. Almost 40 expositions with almost 5,200 visitors. 23 workshops and courses with almost 2,000 people participating, and 27 publications, namely 7 printed books, 15 CDs, 2 e-documents, and 3 catalogs. This one on the right, it's one example. it's mixed techniques for building with earth. The publications of PROTERRA, so the research project, were many, and here are some examples. With CDs, here a glossary, and this one a proceeding of a seminar, so different types to reach different publics. This demonstration project ended in 2006, and it was in 2006 that the PROTERRA network, as we know it nowadays, so the Ibero-American Network of Architecture and Construction with Earth, was created. The difference here is, that's why we are so keen on writing PROTERRA with cap letters, because the PROTERRA without cap letters was the research project. So the PROTERRA, it's Ibero-American network, so it includes mainly countries from America, namely South America, and from the Iberian Peninsula, namely Spain and Portugal. And the languages are the languages of those countries, so namely Spanish and Portuguese. The statutes and the regulations were established. From 2006, they went for a second version in 2011, and then the one that is in force nowadays is from the 2020. There is a scientific council and a consultative council, and since 2006, we are now with this last mandate from 2021 to 25, that is coordinated by Camilo Giribas from Chile, after another coordinator, Delmi Nunes from Salvador, Hugo Pereira from Chile, Mariana Correia from Portugal, Luis Fernando Guerrero from Mexico, and Celia Neves, which was the first coordinator from Brazil. During the same period, and for almost 2 decades, RILEM did not address earth construction. But finally, in 2016, Jean-Claude Morel and Antonin Fabry proposed and created the TC274, Testing and Characterization of Earth-Based Building Materials and Elements. And this TC worked with the active participation of 32 members on cluster E, masonry, timber, and cultural heritage. So there was a gap between the last ones of the 94 and this one in 2016. Coming back to PROTERRA again, so the objectives of the network was the generation, dissemination, and transfer of knowledge, as well as construction practice, because the network is very connected with hands-on approach for new buildings and the preservation of cultural diversity in terms of material and intangible heritage around architecture and construction with earth. We have now 140 members. We have 15 friendly institutions, such as RILEM, the more recent one. We have 4 associated networks that can be national ones. And we have the 2 official languages, Spanish and Portuguese. So the majority of the documents are both written in Portuguese and Spanish. And we try to also improve our skills on both languages, because we are normally, we have one as mother tongue, and we try to improve the other as also a way of improving our collaboration. In this link, you can get to the website of PROTERRA, and you can get a lot of the documents and a lot of the information that I'm presenting here. The PROTERRA network is, the structure of the network is organized with a coordinator that is now Camilo Giribas, a consultative council, a scientific council. We have online dissemination. We have the seminars, the CIACOTS, the International Seminars on Earth Construction. We are having this year our 22nd CIACOT. We have many other activities such as webinars, virtual workshops, hands-on workshops, many types of events. We also have collaboration on research, and we also have what is very common for RILEM 2. Sometimes we have round-robin tests that are developed among different laboratories of different universities, institutes, countries, etc. We also have a lot of publications. I would say almost every year new publications are presented. And also we have a regular newsletter that shows what are PROTERRA doing, but also what are the members of PROTERRA and the friendly associations of PROTERRA developing concerning earth construction and dissemination and training and so on. Talking about the CIACOTS, that is one of the probably most known events organized by PROTERRA. So we are now, these are the photos of the proceedings that are available on the website of PROTERRA of all the CIACOTS, so the proceedings of all those seminars. So since this one, 2002 was the first one. Let me check. And much more. So this was from last year. Normally we don't have seminars each year, but because of COVID, there was a short changes, and we are this year in November 2024 in La Serena, Chile. We are having our 22nd one. So those of you that are interested on knowing much more the research training that are being made in America and Iberia Peninsula countries are encouraged to register for this CIACOT and share with us your knowledge too. The deadline of abstracts is closing or just closed, but I think that if you really want to go there, probably the organizer will accept some late-minute proposals of presentations and articles. Other publications, so this is an example from 2005 that some have been updated. So this first one from 2005 from the PROTERRA research project was improved and published in 2009, both in Portuguese and Spanish. It's about the selection of earth and methods to control the construction with earth, with very practical on-site techniques that are very useful, not only for researchers, but mainly for those that want to really build with earth. Another example is a glossary that was started in 2002, 2003, and then that was updated about what are the best terms in Portuguese and in Spanish in different regions, because in the same country, sometimes we have different terms in different regions. So what are those terms? Because it's very important for us to use the correct ones, not mix. For instance, if we use the term soil or earth, are they the same? Are they different? if we use the term Adobe, we should not use Adobe block because it's a pleonasm, because Adobe is already a block. So things like that we try to be very precise on our glossaries so that people use the best ones, and with those selected ones, science can increase much faster and better. Another examples from 2011, 2016. Here, a book of architecture with earth in Latin America. And here, a book about the techniques of building with earth, both in Portuguese and Spanish. And here, another book, very important, with guidelines to organize hands-on workshops about earth construction. So if you want to organize one, why starting from the beginning if you can use those guidelines helping you to organize your workshop? Other examples of publications, so there are many publications in our website. This one, a guideline for in situ construction with earth, how to build today, how people are building today in Mesoamerica, and this one, for instance, with how to build with a kind of wattle and dub construction named Ciancio, Viviana, that is common in South America. So both addressing new construction and the repair of the existent heritage. This is an example of our newsletter. So we call it bulletin. There are parts of the bulletin written in Portuguese, parts written in Spanish, depending on the member that are providing the information to the and the small articles to the bulletin, to the newsletter. Another example of our dissemination of what we are doing. There was the Viernes de Charlas. It was short presentations made on Fridays afternoon by many different members of PROTERRA with different backgrounds from history, from architecture, from civil engineering, from conservation, geology, and conferences organized by the university in Bolivia. Apart from all this, we organize a lot of workshops, visits, expositions, and also we provide round-robin tests made by different laboratories. The workshops and visits, they are always included in the CIACOT. So for those going to the CIACOT in November 2024 in Chile, there will be visits, there will be workshops on earth construction too. For those who want to start touching earth and building with earth, it can be a very good opportunity. Now, how to become a member of PROTERRA? According to the statute of PROTERRA, the candidate interested in joining the network must share the mission of the network and demonstrate having international experience on earth construction and architecture, especially in the area of Ibero-American. So there is a candidacy that is analyzed by the Council of PROTERRA, and as member, only people with experience are accepted. But there are other kinds of membership, as I told you before, institutions associated that can be a little bit different. But to be a member, to candidate to be a member, you must submit an application to the PROTERRA coordinator who is Camilo Giribas, using this email. You must prepare a document referring to the most important activities that you have been carried out or are currently carrying out in the field of architecture and construction with earth. It can be training, it can be design, it can be many different aspects. You should also mention why you think you want to be a member and what you foresee the contribution you can provide to the network. And also you should include the name of a PROTERRA member who supports your candidacy. And you should attach your CV with, it does not have to be a very, very large CV, but you have to include the aspects, the issues dealing with earth construction. And after acceptance, there is no fee. So it's an association that has no budget, because we don't pay any fee, but we are expected to effectively contribute by our work, by our dissemination, by our contribution. So it's a voluntary work as RILEM, but there is no annual fee. And thank you for your attention.